Ethan was an ordinary young man. He lived in a small town, worked a simple job, and spent his evenings reading books about space. He always felt the universe was too big for him, too far away. He never thought he would have any real connection with the stars. But that changed the night he met Lyra. Lyra was not like anyone else. She looked human at first glance, tall, graceful, with bright eyes that seemed to glow under the moonlight. But when Ethan looked closer, he felt something different about her. Her voice had a strange rhythm, as if it carried echoes from another world. Her movements were smooth, almost too perfect, and her gaze held secrets he could not understand. They met by accident. Ethan was walking home late from work when he saw her standing alone near the old railway bridge. She looked lost, confused, almost frightened. He asked if she needed help, and she simply smiled. That smile was the beginning of something Ethan could never have imagined. Over the next few weeks, they spent time together. Lyra was curious about everything on Earth: human food, music, movies, even silly things like why humans laughed at jokes. She asked questions Ethan had never thought about. "Why do humans hold hands?" she once asked, and Ethan found himself blushing as he explained. Slowly, their friendship grew into something deeper. Ethan did not know where she came from. "Sometimes," he asked, but she never gave a clear answer. She only said, "My home is far away beyond your skies." He guessed she was not from any country he knew, but he never guessed she was not from Earth at all. One evening under the stars, Lyra finally told him. She was not human. She came from a planet many light years away, a world with oceans of silver and skies that burned green. At first, Ethan thought she was joking, but then she showed him. Her eyes glowed brighter, her skin shimmered like liquid light, and for a moment her whole body seemed to ripple with energy. Ethan's heart raced, but strangely, he was not afraid. Instead, he felt drawn even closer to her. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan realized he had fallen in love. It was strange, impossible, yet real. Lyra seemed to feel the same. She laughed more, spoke softer, and sometimes held his hand without asking why. Their bond grew stronger, even though they both knew their worlds were completely different. But Lyra carried a secret burden. Her species was not like humans. They did not create families the same way. She tried many times to explain, but Ethan could not fully understand. He only knew she seemed worried, as if something important was coming. One night, everything changed. Ethan had taken Lyra to a quiet hilltop outside town. They sat under the sky watching the stars. The night was peaceful, almost too peaceful. Lyra looked at Ethan with a serious expression. "Ethan," she said softly, "there is something you must know. When one of my kind shares a true bond with another, something happens. Something new begins." Ethan didn't understand. "What do you mean?" he asked. Lyra touched his hand. "I mean, it has already begun." Her words echoed in his mind long after they went home. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He kept hearing her voice, feeling her touch. Finally, he got out of bed to get some water. But when he walked into his room again, he froze. There, on the floor near his desk, was something glowing. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light, but as he stepped closer, he realized it was real. It was an egg. The object was smooth and round, about the size of a football, glowing with a soft blue light. Strange patterns moved across its shell, like tiny rivers of fire. Ethan felt his chest tighten. His heart raced. He whispered to himself, What is this?" Just then, Lyra appeared at the door. Her face was pale, her eyes filled with both fear and hope. She stepped forward slowly, almost carefully, as if the egg was more fragile than glass. "Ethan," she said, her voice trembling, "do not be afraid." Ethan looked at her in shock. "Lyra, did you?" Lyra nodded. "It is mine." "No, it is ours." Silence filled the room. The only sound was the soft hum of the egg. Ethan stepped closer, staring at it, unable to believe what he was seeing. His mind screamed with questions. How could this happen? What did it mean? What was inside? Lyra knelt beside the egg, her hand hovering just above the glowing shell. My kind do not give birth as humans do. When a true bond is made, an egg is laid, it carries the life of both. She looked up at him, her eyes shimmering. Ethan, this is not just my child, it is your child too. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. The room felt smaller, heavier. He wanted to speak, but no words came. An alien egg. His child? It was impossible. And yet it was right in front of him, glowing with life. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt the universe was not far away. The universe had come to his room, into his life, into his hands. But deep inside, he also felt something else, fear. Because if this was true, then the world outside could never be the same again. The egg sat in the center of Ethan's small room, glowing softly like a living lamp. Its light made the shadows move across the walls, and the air felt warmer, heavier. Ethan could not take his eyes off it. Every second the patterns on the shell shifted as if something inside was breathing, alive, waiting. Lyra knelt beside it, her fingers trembling above the surface but never touching. It listens, she whispered. Even now it can hear us. Ethan swallowed hard. It's alive? Lyra nodded slowly. Yes, inside is life. Not only from me, from you as well. Ethan stepped back, shaking his head. His heart was racing, but his thoughts were even faster. How could this be possible? He was only human. He was not built for this. And yet, here was an alien egg in his bedroom, glowing like a star. Lyra, he finally said, his voice low. What will it become? Human? Alien, or? She turned her eyes to him. Her face carried both beauty and sorrow. It will be something new, something the galaxy has never seen before. Her words sank deep into him. The galaxy. Until now, those were just pictures in his books, bright dots in the night sky. But now the galaxy was in his hands. The egg pulsed brighter for a moment, like it was answering their conversation. Ethan gasped and stepped closer again. He could feel a faint vibration in the floor, a gentle hum in the air. It was not just an object, it was alive. Can it hear me too? He asked carefully. Lyra tilted her head. Yes, speak. Ethan crouched down. His hands shook as he reached toward the shell but stopped an inch away. Hello? 2. His shock. The glowing lines on the shell shifted quickly, forming new patterns like symbols. He didn't understand them, but he knew it was a response. He felt a strange warmth inside his mind, like someone brushing against his thoughts. He stumbled back, nearly falling. It answered me. Lyra gave a soft smile, though her eyes remained heavy with worry. It already knows you. Blood and bond make you its father. It will always listen. Ethan sat on his bed, holding his head. This is insane. I'm not ready for this. I don't even know how to take care of a normal baby, and now... This? Lyra's voice was calm, but there was fear beneath it. Ethan, you must understand. This child is not only ours, it is important. Too important. What do you mean? Ethan asked. Lyra hesitated. For a moment, her glowing eyes flickered dim. She looked away from him, as if speaking the words was dangerous. My people, they do not allow this. A bond, with a human, a child born from it. It is forbidden. If they find out they will come, they will try to destroy it. The room felt colder suddenly. Ethan's chest tightened. Destroy it? But it's just a baby. To them, it is not a baby. It is a threat, a danger to the balance of species. Ethan stood, anger and confusion rising inside him. Then we won't let them know. We'll hide it. We'll protect it. Lyra looked at him with sad eyes. You don't understand, Ethan. They will always know. The child carries power. Power they will sense, no wall, no distance can hide it forever. The egg glowed brighter as if reacting to her words. The hum grew louder, filling the room with strange energy. Ethan stared at it, caught between fear and wonder. Then it happened. The shell rippled just for a second. A small crack of light appeared and then closed again. Ethan gasped. It's moving. Lyra rushed forward, placing her hand above it. Her eyes widened. Too soon. It should not respond this early. What does that mean? Ethan asked, his voice almost shaking. Lyra whispered, It is not normal. This one is growing faster, stronger. Silence stretched between them. The egg pulsed once more, this time sending a small wave of energy that made Ethan's lamp flicker. The lights dimmed, then returned. Ethan stared at the egg, realizing it was not just alive, it was powerful. Lyra, he said carefully, if your people find out, if they sense it, what will happen to us? She closed her eyes. They will come, and they will not show mercy. Ethan felt his whole body shiver. His normal life was gone. He was no longer just a man in a small town. He was the father of something beyond human, something that could bring war or hope. That night, neither of them slept. Ethan sat awake, watching the egg glow in the darkness, every pulse of light like a heartbeat. He thought of his future, of Lyra, of the child inside, the shell. Fear pressed heavy on his chest, but another feeling pushed against it. Responsibility. In the quiet, Ethan whispered to himself, If it's mine, if it's ours, I'll protect it, no matter what. The egg pulsed softly, as if answering him. But deep in the skies, far beyond Earth, others had already begun to notice. For days, the egg remained in Ethan's room, glowing like a secret sun. Ethan and Lyra took turns watching over it, afraid to leave it alone even for a moment. Every night, Ethan listened to the faint hum it made, like a heartbeat echoing through the walls. At times, he even thought he heard whispers in his dreams, soft voices calling him father. But while Ethan guarded his small world far beyond Earth, other eyes were watching. High above the planet, hidden in the darkness of space, an alien ship floated silently. Inside sat members of Lyra's people, their faces cold and their eyes sharp like blades. They had felt the pulse of the hybrid egg. To them, it was a signal of danger, a warning that the balance of the galaxy might soon change. One of the leaders, a tall figure with silver skin, stood before the council chamber. His voice was deep and merciless. The law is clear. No child may be born of human and our kind. This must end before it begins. Another alien nodded in agreement. If the egg hatches, it will carry powers neither human nor alien. Such a creature cannot be controlled. It will not belong to us nor to them. The decision was quick. Hunters would be sent to Earth. The hybrid child would never be allowed to live. Back on Earth, Ethan tried to live his normal life, but nothing felt normal anymore. At work, he could barely focus. At home, every sound made him nervous, as if someone might break in and discover the egg. His mind raced with questions he could not answer. One evening, as he sat by the egg, he finally spoke, his fear out loud. Lyra, what if I'm not strong enough? What if I can't protect it? Lyra placed her hand gently on his shoulder. Her eyes glowed softly in the dim room. Strength is not only in muscle, Ethan. It is in choice. You have already chosen to protect it. That makes you strong. Her words gave him comfort, but deep inside, he knew things were only getting harder. That night, as they watched the egg together, the glow suddenly grew brighter. The shell pulsed rapidly, almost like a drumbeat. Ethan stood up in alarm. What's happening? Lyra's face turned pale. She whispered one word. They've found us. Ethan froze. What do you mean? The energy of the egg. It has reached too far. My people will sense it. They will come. Before Ethan could respond, a strange sound echoed outside, a low hum unlike anything he had ever heard. He rushed to the window and his breath caught in his throat. Above the town, streaks of light cut across the night sky. At first, they looked like shooting stars, but they moved too fast, too controlled. They were ships, alien ships. Ethan's heart pounded. "They're here." Lyra grabbed his arm. "We must leave, now." The two of them quickly packed what little they could. Ethan wrapped the glowing egg in a thick blanket, holding it close to his chest. It felt warm, alive, almost like it trusted him. But it also felt heavy, not in weight, but in responsibility. As they ran outside, the night sky lit up brighter. One of the alien ships hovered low above the forest near the edge of town, its surface black and silent like a predator waiting to strike. Ethan whispered, "What do they want with us?" Lyra's eyes hardened. "Not us. The egg." The ground shook suddenly as a beam of light shot down from the ship, burning into the forest. Trees cracked and fell as smoke filled the air. Ethan stumbled back in shock. This was no peaceful arrival. They were here for war. The first hunter appeared from the smoke. Tall, armored, with silver skin that shimmered under the moonlight. Its eyes glowed bright white, unblinking. It carried a weapon unlike anything Ethan had ever seen, a long spear that buzzed with energy. Ethan's legs froze, but Lyra stepped forward, placing herself between the hunter and Ethan. Her voice was sharp, commanding. "Stay back." The hunter spoke in a cold voice. "Lyra of the Velari, you have broken our law. The child must be destroyed." Ethan's grip tightened around the egg. His voice cracked, but he shouted anyway, "It's not a monster. It's our child." The hunter tilted its head, studying Ethan like a strange insect. Then it raised its spear. Lyra reacted instantly. Energy surged from her body, glowing bright as she raised her hands. A shield of light formed around them, blocking the spear's strike. The impact shook the ground, sparks flying. Ethan stumbled but held onto the egg with all his strength. The hunter growled and stepped back, preparing to strike again. More shadows moved in the smoke. More hunters were coming. Ethan's heart raced. He had never fought anyone in his life, let alone alien warriors. But now running was not an option. If he ran, the egg would be taken. If the egg was taken, their child would die. Lyra turned to him, her face fierce but desperate. "Ethan, you must trust me. No matter what happens, protect the egg. Do not let them touch it." Ethan nodded, his hands trembling but his voice firm. "I promise." The hunters closed in, their glowing weapons slicing through the smoke. The night that had once been quiet and peaceful was now a battlefield, and in Ethan's arms, the egg pulsed faster, glowing so bright it lit the darkness like a star. The child inside was not afraid. It was awake. The hunters circled through the smoke like shadows with glowing eyes. Their weapons buzzed with deadly energy, cutting the air. Ethan held the egg tight against his chest, his arms aching but his grip unshaken. The glow from the egg was stronger now, brighter than the headlights of a car. It lit up his face, making him look almost otherworldly. Lyra stood in front of him, her body glowing with her own power, hands stretched out holding a shield of light against the hunters. Sparks flew as energy clashed against energy. Each strike from the hunters shook the ground. Each defense from Lyra drained her strength. Ethan's heart hammered. He wanted to help, but he was just human. What could he do against warriors from another world? Still, he could not run. His arms tightened around the egg as if his life depended on it. Then something strange happened. The egg pulsed again. Once, twice, faster than before. Ethan felt the vibration deep inside his chest, his mind filled with warmth, like sunlight touching his thoughts. And then he heard it, a voice, soft, gentle, inside his head. "Father." Ethan froze, eyes wide. He looked down at the glowing shell. Did you just... The egg pulsed again. The warmth grew stronger. The voice whispered once more, "Do not fear. I am here." For a moment, Ethan forgot the hunters. He forgot the smoke, the danger. even the spear crashing against Lyra's shield. He only heard that voice, the voice of his child. "Lyra!" Ethan shouted over the noise. "It's speaking to me. The egg. It's alive. It's awake." Lyra's eyes widened, but she couldn't turn. "It's too early. It should not awaken yet." The egg vibrated harder in Ethan's arms. The glowing patterns shifted rapidly, forming strange symbols, moving faster and faster like living code. Ethan felt heat on his skin, like the egg was burning. But he didn't let go. The hunters seemed to notice too. They paused, their eyes narrowing, their weapons lowering for just a moment. One of them spoke in a sharp voice. "It stirs. The hybrid awakens," Lyra gasped. "Ethan, hold on to it. Don't let it go." But the egg had its own plan. A thin crack appeared across its shell, glowing white-hot. A beam of light shot upward into the sky like a signal. The hunters stepped back in shock. The ground trembled as if the earth itself was answering the child's cry. Ethan fell to his knees, struggling to keep hold as the energy pushed against him. He gritted his teeth, refusing to let go. "You're not alone. I've got you." The voice in his head grew clearer. No longer a whisper, but a small childlike tone filled with both innocence and strength. "Protect me. I trust you." Tears burned Ethan's eyes. He had never felt anything like this. Not fear, not joy, not even love. It was something beyond. A connection deeper than words, deeper than blood. The hunters snarled, recovering from their shock. "Stop it before it hatches," one shouted. They raised their weapons again, rushing forward. Lyra cried out and unleashed a blast of energy that knocked two of them back. But she staggered, her light flickering. She was weakening. Ethan stood, holding the egg close. He faced the hunters, his voice shaking but strong. "You'll have to go through me first." The hunters laughed, their voices cold and cruel. "You are human. You are nothing." But as they lunged, the egg exploded with light. A shockwave of energy burst outward, knocking every hunter off their feet. The forest trees bent and snapped. Smoke cleared to reveal Ethan standing in the middle of the glowing field, the egg in, his arms shining like a newborn star. Lyra shielded her eyes, gasping. "It's protecting you." Ethan felt the warmth surround him, wrapping him like armor. The voice inside his mind grew stronger, louder, and yet still childlike. "Father, I will not let them hurt you." The hunters struggled to rise, but every step they took was met with resistance. The ground shook, their weapons sparked, their movements slowed as if unseen hands were pulling them down. Ethan stared in awe. It's fighting back." Lyra's voice trembled. "No, not fighting. Defending. The child already knows you. It will not allow harm to come near you." Another crack split across the egg, glowing brighter, spilling white light into the night. Ethan gasped. "It's hatching." Lyra shook her head quickly. "No, not yet. It is too soon." "If it hatches now, it may not survive." Ethan looked down at the glowing shell in his arms, torn between fear and wonder. "Then what do I do?" The child's voice echoed in his head. "Stay with me. Be my shield as I am yours." The hunters roared, gathering their strength for another strike. Their leader stepped forward, raising his spear high. "Enough! The child will not be born." But before he could strike, the egg sent out another pulse. This time, instead of a wave, it projected an image into the air, flickering shapes of light. Ethan and Lyra gasped as they saw it. A vision. The image showed a strange future. Stars, burning planets falling, armies fighting. And in the middle of it all stood a figure, neither fully human nor alien, holding out their hands as if commanding both sides. Peace or destruction, the vision was unclear. But one truth was certain. The child would change everything. The hunters saw it too, and their fear grew. They backed away, whispering in their alien tongue. Even they, warriors with no mercy, trembled. At the vision, Ethan held the egg tighter, whispering through clenched teeth, "I don't care what you become, you're my child, and I'll protect you." The egg glowed gently in his arms as if smiling. The night was not over. The danger was not gone. But for the first time, Ethan felt he was not powerless. He was not alone. The child was awake. The forest burned with smoke and fire. The alien hunters regrouped, their glowing weapons cutting through the night like blades of lightning. Ethan stood in the middle of the chaos, the egg pressed tight to his chest, glowing brighter than ever. Lyra was at his side, her shield flickering, weakly as she fought to hold back another strike. The child's voice still echoed in Ethan's head, soft but steady. "Do not fear, Father. I am here." But fear was everywhere. The hunters closed in, their leader raising his spear once more. The hybrid must not live. End this now. Ethan's body screamed at him to run, but his heart would not let him. He tightened his grip on the egg and shouted back, "You'll never take it." The hunters lunged. Lyra moved first, unleashing a wave of energy that knocked one of them into a burning tree. Sparks exploded as the hunter's armor clashed with flame, but two more leapt forward, weapons spinning. Ethan stumbled back, clutching the egg, feeling useless as the battle raged around him. Then the egg pulsed again. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Roots ripped out of the soil, twisting upward like serpents. The hunters froze for a split second, startled by the sudden movement of the earth. Ethan's eyes widened. The egg? It's doing this. The child's voice whispered again. "I will protect you." The roots lashed out, wrapping around one hunter's legs, dragging him down into the dirt. Another swung his spear to cut, free, but the roots only grew thicker, snapping his weapon in half. Lyra turned to Ethan, her face pale with shock. "It's too strong. If it uses more energy, it may hatch before it's ready." Ethan's stomach dropped. "But if it doesn't, we'll die." Another hunter broke free from the roots and charged at Ethan, the spear aimed directly at his chest. Ethan froze. The egg glowed fiercely in his arms, and suddenly a shield of light burst outward. The spear bounced off with a sharp crack, sending sparks flying. Ethan gasped, staring at the glowing barrier around him. The child's voice echoed in his mind, firmer this time. "No one will hurt you." The hunter hissed in frustration, backing away. Even they seemed unnerved now. But their leader stepped forward, unshaken. His eyes glowed with deadly focus. "You cannot protect him forever. The egg will not live to see the dawn." He slammed his spear into the ground. The earth split open with a violent crack, sending Ethan and Lyra tumbling back. Ethan barely kept hold of the egg as the ground shook, the forest collapsing around them. Lyra cried out, her shield fading completely. She was drained, her body trembling. "Ethan, I can't hold them much longer." Ethan knelt beside her, panic in his eyes. "Then I'll fight." She stared at him, exhausted but fierce. "You are only human." He swallowed hard, fear twisting his stomach. "Maybe, but I'm this child's father. That has to mean something." Before Lyra could answer, the hunters advanced again. Ethan stood, clutching the egg with one arm and grabbing a broken tree branch with the other. It wasn't much, it wasn't even a weapon, but it was all he had. He planted his feet, breathing hard, ready to fight. The hunters laughed, a cruel metallic sound. A human with a stick against the warriors of Valari? Foolish. But Ethan didn't back down. "Come and see what a father will do." The hunters rushed him. Ethan swung wildly, his branch breaking against alien armor. Pain shot through his arm as he was thrown back, crashing into the dirt. The egg nearly slipped from his grasp, but he held on with desperate strength. Then it happened. The egg cracked. A thin fracture spread across the shell, glowing like fire. Ethan froze, his eyes wide. Lyra gasped, crawling toward him. "No, it's too soon." The hunters stopped, their eyes fixed on the glowing crack. For the first time, there was hesitation in their movements. Even they feared what might come. Out. The egg pulsed harder, faster. Ethan felt his mind fill with light, his heartbeat syncing with the rhythm inside the shell. The child's voice grew stronger, echoing not only in his head but in the very air. "I am here. I am ready." Lyra shouted in panic. "No, you cannot hatch yet. "You're not strong enough." But the shell cracked again, wider this time. A small claw, or maybe a hand, pushed through, glowing bright. Ethan stared in awe and terror. His child was coming. The hunter's leader growled, stepping forward with his spear raised. "If it hatches, the galaxy will fall. Kill it now." Ethan threw himself in front of the egg, arms spread wide. "Over my dead body." The spear thrust forward, aimed straight at him. But before it could strike, a massive shockwave exploded from the egg. The hunters were thrown back like rag dolls, crashing into trees and rocks. The forest lit up with white fire, leaves burning, air crackling with energy. Ethan fell to his knees, shielding the egg with his body. His ears rang, his vision blurred, but he refused to let go. He whispered through the chaos, "It's okay. I'm here. I'll protect you." The child's voice answered, warm and calm, "And I will protect you." As the smoke cleared, the hunters staggered to their feet, shaken and furious. But their eyes told a different story now. For the first time, they looked afraid. The egg, cracked and glowing, pulsed like a living star in Ethan's arms. The first battle was not over, but the hunters now understood something terrifying. This child was not just alive. It was powerful. The forest lay in ruins. Trees burned, smoke drifted, and the alien hunters stood at a distance, shaken but not defeated. In the center of the chaos knelt Ethan, clutching the cracked egg against his chest. Lyra crawled to his side, her body trembling with exhaustion, her glow dimming. The egg pulsed faster and faster, every beat like a drum shaking the earth. Cracks spread across its shell, light pouring out in sharp flashes. Ethan's arms shook as he held it, his mind overwhelmed by the voice inside. "I am ready. Let me come." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. "But you're too soon. What if you're not strong enough?" The voice grew calmer, gentler. "I trust you. I am strong because of you," Lyra gasped, her hand on the shell. "Ethan, it's happening. We cannot stop it now. The child is choosing to be born." The hunters growled from the shadows, their weapons ready. But they hesitated, uncertain. One whispered in their alien tongue, "This is forbidden. This is dangerous." Another hissed, "If it hatches, everything changes." Ethan turned, his face fierce. "Then you'd better get used to change." The egg cracked wide and the world seemed to hold its breath. Light burst out, blinding everyone. Nearby, Ethan shielded his eyes but did not let go. He felt the shell break apart in his arms, felt warmth spread through his chest like fire and sunlight together. Then silence. The egg was gone. In its place, lying in his arms, was a small glowing child. Its skin shimmered with faint silver patterns, almost like starlight drawn across soft human flesh. Its eyes opened slowly, bright and golden, glowing like tiny suns. The child looked up at Ethan and blinked. Ethan's breath caught. His hands shook. It's beautiful." Lyra's eyes filled with tears as she touched the child's tiny hand. "Ethan, this is our child. Our bond made life." The child reached out, fingers brushing Ethan's chest. In that instant, Ethan felt every emotion flood into him. Love, hope, and something else. Power. Not his power, but the child's. The hybrid was not weak. It was strong. The child spoke without sound, its voice echoing in both their minds. "Mother, Father, I am here." Ethan's throat tightened. He whispered, "I'll protect you always." The child's eyes closed briefly and a soft wave of energy flowed outward. The smoke cleared, the fires dimmed, and the air grew calm. Even the hunters froze, their weapons shaking in their hands. The leader of the hunters stepped forward, his voice harsh. "This cannot be allowed. That thing will tear apart the galaxy." Ethan stood holding the child carefully. His face was pale, his body weak, but his voice was stronger than it had ever been. "This is not a monster. This is my child." The child opened its golden eyes again, staring directly at the hunters. For a moment the world seemed to fall silent. The hunters staggered back, as if their strength was being drained. Their glowing weapons flickered and went dark. One hunter cried out in fear. "It is too strong already." Lyra's voice was steady, though soft. "It is not strength to destroy. It is strength to protect." The child looked at her, then at Ethan, then at the hunters. Its small hand lifted, gently, and the earth responded. The ground rose beneath Ethan's feet, forming a platform of roots and light, shielding them from attack. Ethan looked down at the tiny being in his arms. "You're protecting us, even though you were just born," the child's voice echoed once more. "Because you love me. Because I love you." The hunters hesitated, fear written across their faces. Their leader growled, trying to hold on to his pride. "This cannot be. No child should carry such power. If it grows, it will rule us all." Ethan took a step forward, his child in his arms glowing brighter with every heartbeat. "Maybe that's what you're afraid of. Not that it will destroy you, but that it will change you." The hunters shifted uncomfortably. Some looked ready to fight, others looked ready to flee. The child blinked again, and suddenly images filled the air, visions of stars, planets, and galaxies. But unlike the earlier vision of war, this time it showed something different. Humans and aliens standing side by side, building together, living together. Peace, not war. The hunters gasped, some whispering in awe. Even Lyra stared, stunned. "It's showing them a future." Ethan looked down at the child, tears in his eyes. "You're trying to tell them there's another way." The child's golden eyes sparkled and the visions faded. Silence fell again. For a moment, even the hunters could not move. They had seen something greater than law, greater than fear. But the leader snarled, raising his spear one last time. "I will not bow to a child," he charged, his weapon aimed at Ethan's chest. The child's glow flared, brighter than ever. Ethan felt no fear, only trust. He held the child close and whispered, "Do what you must." The spear never touched them. The weapon shattered in midair, breaking into 1,000 sparks. The leader fell to his knees, defeated not by force, but by something stronger. The child's voice whispered into every mind present, human and alien alike. No more fear, no more hate. Ethan looked around the broken forest, then back at his child. His heart swelled with pride. "You're not just ours. You're hope." Lyra touched his arm, her tears shining. "The galaxy will never be the same." And in Ethan's arms, the hybrid child smiled for the first time. The night was still burning with smoke, but the forest had grown strangely silent. The alien hunters stood frozen, their weapons shattered, their courage broken. In Ethan's arms, the hybrid child glowed like a tiny star, its golden eyes watching the world with calm innocence. Lyra stood beside Ethan, her strength slowly returning as she looked at their child. Her heart swelled with pride, but also with fear. They will not stop, Ethan. The hunters were only the beginning. When the council learns the child has hatched, they will come in greater numbers. Ethan tightened his grip around the child, his voice steady. "Then we'll face them. I don't care how many come. I'm not giving up my child." The hunters shifted uneasily. Some lowered their heads in shame. Others looked toward the sky as if waiting for orders from far above. Their leader, still kneeling in the dirt, lifted his broken hands. His silver eyes glared at Ethan. "You don't understand, human. This child will not be seen as a blessing. It will be seen as a weapon. Armies will rise to claim it. Empires will fall to destroy it. Do you truly believe you can protect it?" Ethan's voice shook, but his words cut deep. "I don't need to protect the whole galaxy. I only need to protect my family. And if the galaxy fears that, maybe it needs to change." The hybrid child blinked, and a soft wave of light spread outward. The hunters stumbled back as visions filled their minds. Once again, not war, not conquest, but unity. They saw humans and Velari children playing together. They saw two species working as one, building bridges, exploring stars side by side. The child's voice echoed in all their minds. Fear has ruled too long. Let love rule now. For a moment, even the hunter's leader faltered. His body trembled as the vision gripped him. But pride is a strong chain. He snarled and tore the image away, shouting, "No, this is false, this is weakness." He lunged one final time, desperate to destroy what he could not understand. Ethan stepped forward, no longer afraid. He raised his free hand, standing between the spear and his child. "You call it weakness, I call it love." The spear never reached him. The child's glow flared brighter than the stars above. The leader was thrown back by pure energy. His weapon turned to dust. He lay on the ground, broken, his pride shattered. The other hunters dropped their weapons. None dared move against. "The child again," Lyra whispered, her voice filled with awe. "Ethan, you did it. We did it." But Ethan shook his head. He looked down at the tiny being in his arms. "No, they did it. Our child showed them something we couldn't." High above Earth, in the darkness of space, the alien council had been watching. Their great ships floated like silent gods, scanning every pulse of energy. They had seen the visions, felt the awakening. In their chamber of light, the council argued fiercely. Some cried for war, insisting the hybrid must be destroyed before its influence spread. Others whispered of hope, daring to believe the child might be a bridge instead of a threat. Finally, one of the eldest counselors spoke. His voice was low, heavy with centuries of wisdom. "Perhaps the humans have something we do not. Perhaps love is not weakness, perhaps it is strength." The chamber fell silent. The decision was not yet made, but seeds of doubt had been planted in their hearts. On Earth, dawn began to break. The smoke faded into pale morning light. Ethan, exhausted but unbroken, sat with Lyra under the ruined trees. The hybrid child lay in his arms, no longer glowing as fiercely, but breathing softly, peacefully like any newborn. For the first time, it seemed almost ordinary, like a small baby sleeping against its father's chest. Ethan smiled through tears. "Look at you. The galaxy thinks you're dangerous, but to me, you're just perfect." Lyra leaned against him, her eyes full of both love and worry. "The galaxy will come for us again. This is not the end." Ethan kissed the child's forehead gently. "Then let them come. They'll see what I see. Not a weapon, not a monster. Just hope." The child stirred in his arms, its golden eyes opening once more. It looked at Ethan, then at Lyra, and spoke softly into both their minds. "Together." Ethan laughed softly, his fear melting into pride. "Yes, together." As the sun rose, light touched the ruins of the battlefield. The hunters who remained lowered their heads, not in anger, but in quiet surrender. Some even bowed, not to Ethan, not to Lyra, but to the child. For they had seen what true power was. Not destruction, not fear, but the courage of a human father, and the love of an alien mother. And now, in the arms of both, a new future had been born. The story of the hybrid child was only beginning. But in that moment, as morning light broke across the sky, one truth was clear. The universe would never be the same again.